Can I say something before you go?
You already want to start this off right away.
Just real quick.
You don't even let me get the introduction. You're stepping over Commish Babs.
It's just a quick thought.
Go ahead.
It's awesome to hear that music because that means that the podcasts are back. And it's just awesome. It's awesome. It's great to be down here. It's been a while since I've been down here. I'll let you do your thing.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, to the 2018 Legends of Lawtown podcast.
Yes.
It's been so long since we've been down here and had the ability to do a podcast, but it's April, which is super early for some people, but guess what? We're 2 days away from the NFL draft. And myself here, Commish Babs, and Tgunz himself, regular season champ.
Hey,
regular season champ in 2017.
I made myself relevant.
You did, finally. We are going down to the NFL draft. We will be there for the first round, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Very excited.
We're here to talk about the first round of the NFL draft and what you see. But before we even dive into that at all, there's so much to talk about in the 2017 season. And first, I just want to say, for me, I just want to move on. I just want to go to the 2018 season. I just want to talk about what's going on going forward.
2017 was toxic. First of all, we'd like to apologize for the absence of the podcast. All the viewers out there, we're sorry. We're sorry for not putting the content out. You guys deserve it. But we're back. We're better than ever. A lot of stuff has been going on behind the scenes. I don't know how much you want to dive into that, but a lot of things have been happening. We've been doing interviews. We do have 2 open slots for GMs. So we're busy doing interviews. We were writing up contracts for the 2018 season. Just a lot been going on. I don't know if you want to talk about any of that. You're the commissioner, so...
This is your podcast, bro. This is all about Tgunz today.
Well,
this is about the regular season champion, Tgunz. The first time you've ever made the playoffs last year. You finally made it. You got over that hump, but you didn't make it to the championship game.
Why do you have to throw that out there, bro? You're on a roll.
You didn't get to touch this beautiful championship.
I was blushing, and then you threw that out there. But, yeah, GRD beat me. He's an experienced GM in this league.
So, like I said, listen, there's a lot to talk about the 2017 season.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of people to blame for the podcast. Green runs deep. You already know. This guy spilled beer all over my laptop, and then we stopped having podcasts after that.
Viewers don't know about
Spreadsheets, he pushed me against this wall back here. Boom! And I got hit down to the ground, and look where he is today. And Wilcox didn't even show up to the fucking draft. And... everyone ruined it. Buyers didn't even talk all season. Well, everyone ruined it.
Yeah, but 2017
we did the draft too early.
2017 was toxic, but we're back and better than ever for 2018.
2017, going into that year, going into those original podcasts, there was a lot of beef between people.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're done with that. We're moving forward for the 2000. We have an Instagram now. We have an Instagram.
We are back and we're better than ever. I think we learned a lot from last year. We learned a lot from our mistakes, and we will be better in 2018 and better in the future. We got a lot going on this year. A lot of content coming your way.
If there's one thing that you had to blame for the downfall of Legends of Lawtown 2017, because 2007 Legends of Lawtown's going up, 2017 hit and it kind of crashed down. What would you blame in 2017?
So,
one thing.
So, people viewing this podcast probably know that we usually do the podcast as a big 3. Now, me, co-commish Tgunz, Commissioner Babs, always down to do podcasts. However, who's the third party? Who's the third wheel?
Red Zone!
Red Zone. It's impossible to get Red Zone to come here, to show up. Usually he's here high and he just wants to sleep on the couch, and he's not down to do a podcast.
Red Zone's on the decline right now. He's wifed up. He's wifed up now.
The viewers don't know that
he finally got married. He's settled down.
Wow.
Red Zone.
So like
Red Zone's turning into Soft Zone.
So like you said, if there's one thing like I would probably blame on, it's probably for the lack of ability for him to be here with us, be here to film.
You know, everyone was busy.
What do you think? Is there anything that you?
I mean,
would blame?
So there's tons of different things we can look at. You know, I can blame Wilcox for not showing up to the draft. That completely fucked it up. He fucked that up. But you know what? He still made it to the playoffs. Everything still happened for a reason. I could be blaming fucking Pat O'Leary over here, trading all his picks away. He comes in with his big dick swinging everywhere, saying he was going to make the playoffs, and he absolutely sucked. I could be blaming Tantron for retiring, for giving up on the team. The guy who made the Super Bowl the year before and then was in last place, who deserves to get a tattoo, by the way. That's what we all agreed on. He gave up on the league completely. I could blame Spreadsheets for pushing me like a little idiot that he is, and pushing me and getting his aggression out there. Obviously, we're just talking shit and we're talking this and that. I'm the softest one out of everybody, but to push someone like that, that was stupid as well. You can blame me for doing that when we were in Dallas last year, for doing the draft lottery early, for causing a commotion. I'm all about causing commotions. That happened as well. Everyone can equally be blamed.
I mean, you blame him for assaulting you, but the viewers don't know that you assaulted me in Cleveland.
Oh, shit. Is that the same chain that you have on, too?
That's the same chain that I had to get repaired. Should we go? We probably shouldn't die.
I just want to say to the viewers at home that I did something really bad to Tgunz that day, and after that, I went 3 months sober. I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. I apologize to Tgunz deeply for that.
It was a sad moment in our friendship, but I think it was a great moment in your status as commissioner, because I think
that kind of showed that there was an ego trip with the Commissioner Babs. And I think that's why Commissioner Babs, and viewers at home too, there's so much to talk about. That's why I wanted to step down as commissioner. The moments like that. You know I didn't mean to do that.
No,
I'm getting pushed down by, maybe Sheets pushed me on purpose because he was defending you. Who knows? Yes. You know, maybe GRD went like this and spilled beer all over the laptop because he's defending you. Those things do happen.
The viewers don't know this stuff. And Sheets, if that's the reason why you push him, thank you. Thank you for having my back. You've had my back since kindergarten. You remember the picture we posted of us in kindergarten. You've always had my back. Thank you, bro. I'm sad you're not here. The
viewers at home, do they know that? Well, I won't. They do know, actually. I put it in
we
the
can
podcast.
dive into so much.
Listen.
There's so much that we could dive into.
The important thing is here. We're 2018 season. We have 2 open slots. Why do we have 2 open slots? Spreadsheets has gone AWOL. By the way, Spreadsheets did go AWOL. At the same time, he did fill in everybody week by week. He actually tried during the season. By the way, Cincinnati Bengals, not even a top 25 offense. We went through that. You didn't believe me. You didn't believe GRD. And look what happened to you. And secondly...
Wait. Before we move on. I just want to say to Spreadsheets, if you're out there, if you're watching this podcast, you are more than welcome to come on into a podcast and interview for one of our 2 open slots. You are more than welcome. We would love to have you back if you are willing. Come on down. You know this environment. You've been down here before. Come on down and interview for that open GM slot.
I will say this, that there's 2 open slots. Spreadsheets was one that left, which we've been open about him coming back. Yeah. He might also have to serve a 1-year suspension.
Yeah, because David had to.
David served a 1-year suspension.
And David is eligible to come in.
David's eligible to come back. What David did, he's the first ever champion of Legends of Lawtown.
As is Sheets. He is not the first ever, but he is a champion.
Yeah, he beat me, so that maybe he's suspended for 2 years. Ooh. But David served his suspension. It's not easy to be commissioner. It's not easy to go to David and say, hey, we're going to move on from you. But we've always kept him in the back pocket. Now Tantran announced his retirement.
We were with him over the weekend.
Red Zone's not happy about it. We were with him over the weekend. Yeah, he's like, I'm done. Party. He said he'll show up. Commissioner Tantran might happen too. I don't know. Maybe he'll be like the treasurer, or we'll find a role for him. We want to keep him involved.
If he's willing to come interview and prove his worth in this league, we might have a position for him, something like that.
Pat O'Leary was trying to get out of the league too. He was thinking, like, if I'm not coming back, Commissioner Babs not coming back, O'Leary's not coming back either. So we'll see. I mean, we have plenty of people ready to come in, and that's why we have the interview process.
Should we throw a couple names?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So, Mike Barry, you will be receiving an interview to come. An invitation to come interview with us.
Yeah. James O'Sullivan. James O'Sullivan is going to be invited to come for an interview as well to see if he's able. Because listen, if you're watching at home and you're like, oh, it's just a fantasy football group, it is what it is. This is hard hitting. Everything gets out there. Your whole life gets out there.
This is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle that you have to be ready for.
Like people out there be like, oh, I can play fantasy football. It is what it is. Money is not about. It's just not about money. You know what I mean? It's about like pride. It's about ego. It's about being that top dog. And there's things about our lives that will come out during the season that you can get ripped on and you can cry about it and everyone's gonna laugh at you. I've seen Wilcox's penis. I've seen some.
Nothing to say. So
I've seen crazy stuff.
Real quick, fantasy football is when you play and you draft players and you're playing against guys on the internet that you possibly don't know. They're probably 12 years old. Legends of Lawtown is a lifestyle. It's a commitment. Everything is on the table when you join Legends of Lawtown. So it's more than fantasy football. So yeah, just be prepared for
what we want to do though. At the end of the day, Tgunz, and this is looking at you now. I'm not looking at the camera.
Yeah.
We got to keep the content going.
Yeah.
We got to do as much as we can. We're going down to NFL draft. We'll have another podcast on Friday to recap round 1.
Yes.
And we got to have interviews. We got to have the big 3 back. The big 3 needs to be together. And once the season starts going on, once we get to OTAs, once we get to the preseason, we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Right.
But it is April.
So I'm not quite sure. I've been drinking. I'm not quite sure if we have said this prior, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. We're typing up contracts for 2018. We're sending out invitations for people to come interview. Did we mention that already?
You did like 5 minutes ago.
Well, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and so just.
What would you like to see in the 2018 season to put Legends of Lawtown on the map?
To put Legends of Lawtown on the map.
You know what we provide every single year. You know that Commissioner Babs tries his hardest to do every little thing possible to put us out there and to separate us from other leagues. What would you like to see this upcoming year that really, really separates us?
So one thing, like viewers that don't know about us are probably gonna think this is like the most basic thing in the world, but this has to be said, Mr. Wilcox. I would like all 12 GMs to show up to the draft.
Woo! Yeah,
Let's
you
just
gotta
start there.
August
Can we just start there?
25th. It's already April. What is it? April 20, whatever, 24th?
Yes.
Like August 25th. You have so much time on Saturday, August 25th. Show up to the draft. All 12 GMs. That's what killed me as well. We set this up months in advance, and you don't show up. You have to show up to these things. And the draft lottery should be set in stone as well. The draft lottery, I'm saying it right now, July 15th. It's a Saturday. We should have it there as well, too.
Sounds like
a big
great
weekend
time.
at the HQ here, Legends of Lawtown HQ.
July 15th. We should travel somewhere. I mean, maybe the Sox are playing against the Astros July 15th. You never know.
Well, all 12 GMs are not going to
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, nah,
I want to have a big. Last year we did the lottery, and everyone was like, "Oh, I like to have that big party and this and that." Only half the GMs would show up anyways. It's the same GMs that would show up anyways. So
yeah,
maybe we'll do it on a Sunday because
they're chirping about, "Hey, we want to have a big party for the draft lottery. Get everyone there." We can't even get everyone here for the draft. Let alone the draft lottery.
Before we move on to,
yeah,
I know we're rehashing things from last year,
which is what we're gonna do. But
the big thing that I need to get across right now before we really move on is this.
Let's hear it.
John Howie blew a 4-1 lead. Now, if you watch those podcasts from beforehand, it was already set in stone that me and him had a $500 bet that I would finish ahead of him. Now, I didn't make the playoffs, and I just said that he went 4-1 to start the year, and he blew it. He finished 5-8. He blew it. He came over here and drafted Deshaun Jackson. What round was that? Like 4th round or some shit like that?
Third round. Third.
Whatever it is.
That was probably the most awkward moment in Legends of Lawtown history because we weren't sure if he was joking.
Everyone here was dead silent.
It was dead silent in here.
You and John Howie have a very big past history. I want to hear your take about him blowing the 4-1 lead. Because he blew a 3-1 lead prior. He was number 1 in the league after 5 weeks, 4-1. And one of the games that he lost after that 4-1 lead was Titan, who finished with 2 or 3 wins. So talk about that real quick.
John Howie, I love you, bro. We're boys, man. We used to wait at the bus stop when we were 4 years old to go to West Elementary School. You know I love you. You know I always got your back. But, bro, I used to go to Mr. Takeout on every Thursday night and Friday morning. We would talk about fantasy football, and we both knew you had to make trades to change. You were 4-1, but you had to make some moves to improve the roster for the rest of the season. It's not always about the first 5 weeks. we talked every single week how you had to make some trades. And I was active trading, and I did pretty damn well this season, last season. And you didn't make any moves. You held on to your roster. You held on to Matt Ryan after he scored 11 points, 9 points, 12
Yo,
points.
Matt Ryan was really sucking it up at the beginning of the season. He held on to him every single week.
Brother.
Deshaun Jackson, we make fun of him for that bad pick. He was actually really good the first couple weeks. Then he just completely fell off.
weeks.
He fell off afterwards. His running backs, too. We can rehash this. We'll rehash this at a different time, I'm sure.
I had 2 quarterbacks in my roster, Jared Goff, Ben Roethlisberger. I got them both off free agents. But you stuck with Matt Ryan. You stuck with Kareem Hunt. You stuck with Deshaun Jackson. You stuck with everybody. You didn't make any moves. You didn't even try the second half of the season.
So another thing, too,
you accepted your fate.
Wilcox fucked that up because that Kareem Hunt pick was just a random pick that he got like in the 9th round. And then a week later, that's when Spencer Ware got hurt. Remember that?
Yes.
So, like, Kareem Hunt, that's what led him to that 4-1, start. He got lucky. He fell ass backwards into Kareem Hunt. Now, if we actually drafted at the right time, Kareem Hunt would have went in, like, the second round to the late second round, and Howie would have never had him. I actually think Howie would have did worse.
Yeah, because his running backs would have been Joe Mixon and DeMarco Murray. So, everyone else here, shame on Wilcox, but Howie is probably applauding Wilcox for what he did.
Can you let everyone know at home what John Howie is doing for the 2018 season? The breaking news. What did he just get that's going to help him going forward in 2018?
So John Howie's not a big stud here. You know, he goes off of instinct, and he's one to just, he doesn't do his pre-draft research. He just does it while he's on the clock. He researches the hottest player in the league. But this season, Mr. Howie has downloaded the Bleacher Report.
Oh, Bleacher Report! He's got Bleacher Report? No one has Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report, and he has subscribed to the NFL Fantasy Football page.
Wow.
So you'll be getting alerts about fantasy football.
He's stepping up in the world
This is not something that John Howie's used to. He never has fantasy football alerts. I think he has alerts from like 2014 most of the time. So a lot of his alerts are old. But this year, he might be slightly up to date. Hopefully, Bleacher Report does well in analyzing fantasy football this year.
Howie, he made it to the championship game 1 year. 1 year he made it, and he played against Red Zone and lost. Yes. And I think he's always living in that gloried moment.
That's
like, I'm going to get back there. But every other season, he's absolutely trashed. Like, it was that one bloop year that he made it. Like, and that's it.
Yes. Maybe his ego, maybe that's all he needs. He has that one finals appearance, and that's all he really needs, you know what I mean?
Like, I will say, I made it twice, and I'm always, like, scratching and clawing.
Right.
But I'm hungry. Like, I'm trying to pay attention as much as I can. Sometimes it's luck, and he got that one lucky year, and that's it. And he's living off that, and he makes boneheaded decisions. I can't even describe to you at home. We're down here in Legends of Lawtown HQ, and he makes that pick. And everyone was dead silent, silent with Deshaun Jackson. And it was like, are you serious? And once you put a sticker up, that's it. Like, that's all.
I felt so bad because he's not one to come here and make his presence felt. But the one time that he did, just left the sour taste in everybody's mouth.
We gotta keep this rolling a little bit. For the 2018 season, what I would like to see, NFL legends coming out here. Young Gronk has been trying to work on himself. There's Commish Babs right here. And there's also Young Gronk at the same time. I would love, and we've talked about it, the NFL draft, Foxwoods. We're going to be at Foxwoods.
Yes.
And the league, this is about this is about the league. The league in the championship game donated $500 to make sure we have a nice rum, big rum.
Can we give a shout out real quick to the 6 playoff teams that all decided to pitch in for that? Tgunz, Red Zone, Dupe, Wilcox, Brophy, and Justin Gilman. All 6 of us decided, hey, we don't know who's going to make the finals, but whoever does, we're donating.
That's major props there.
That's 500.
Yeah, it was 500.
Yeah.
And that's major props right there.
The regular season champ donated all his money to Cal Loons for the New Year's Eve.
He did. See, you know what? It's about. That's what it's about, man. It's the friendship, the enemies, this and that. I would like to see, and I'm saying it right now, Ty Law, if you're watching, which you're probably not.
Ty, baby!
Ty Law, you're going to be at Foxwoods August 25th. You are going to be there in my corner, Commish Babs' corner, to help me out with the picks. I want to have that. Teddy Bruschi too, if you're watching, maybe we'll invite you too. Who knows what happens? But we want to get those. Awesome. We want to. This is called Legends of Lawtown. We want to get legends involved as well. That's what I want to work on for the 2018 season. I want legends getting involved.
Legends.
All right. So Tgunz, let's get down to it. We talked the last 20 minutes, trying to recap, and we will do more podcasts in the future, breaking down every single team, talking about the championship that Dupe has won back-to-back titles.
Come get your trophy, man.
Come get your trophy. Ben here.
It's right here.
Dupe, back-to-back champion. Red Zone was also a back-to-back champion as well, so he's putting himself on the map as well. So, Tgunz, tomorrow we're flying out and we're going to Dallas.
Right.
And I'm so happy that you're coming with me because
we're going to Houston.
We're going to Houston, then Dallas. But I'm just saying that I'm happy that you're coming because you know college football. I know nothing. I don't know anything about rookies.
Texas
O'Leary,
is the holy grail of college football.
It is.
Awesome place to have the draft. I just want to say something about this draft. I'm not only excited about this draft because we're going and we'll be in attendance there, but there's just some of these names that you see on the draft board. They're all guys that you've watched them in college. You've seen their highlights. You've tuned in on Saturdays. Not just me, Wilcox, and O'Leary, but I feel like the rest of the league has tuned in on some of these guys, and they're familiar with these guys.
I will say that the league, over the years, from 2012 to now, the league gets better and better, I think, in terms of studying, in terms of awareness, in terms of... And what's great is that when we have the chats together, it's maybe you, O'Leary, and Wilcox kind of talking about some of these guys, but you guys talking about them...
It's informative to the rest of the league.
It's informative to me, right. or to somebody else that doesn't really know, and I might Google somebody, and I might kind of keep an eye out there as well, too. I think, actually, some of the college football playoff games, bowl games,
right.
Some of us are paying attention to kind of see who is that next top dog.
Because you don't want just me, Wilcox, and O'Leary to have that edge on next season. You guys want that edge as well.
And just real quick, the last 2 years, Zeke Elliott and then Leonard Fournette, you look at just two running backs right there that get taken in the first round in our league, and they've lived up to that hype in a way too. So
and then you even got sleepers. You got sleepers like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, got injured.
Alvin Kamara. You got guys like Cooper Kupp, receivers, guys that can pitch in your fantasy football season, and it's definitely worth paying attention. So Tgunz, Thursday night, we will be in Dallas. We will be there for the NFL draft. I'm excited. It's just going to be very interesting because you have the Browns with 2 first-round picks, 1 and 4. Patriots got 2 first-round picks. The Buffalo Bills have 2 first-round picks. And there might be some trading. There might be a lot of things going on. You got something to say there?
Yeah, so the Browns might have 2 picks in the top 4. But if you listen to Tgun's mock draft, they might not.
Let's see.
That's a little foreshadowing for you, right?
And by the way, last time we had a podcast, I said that the Browns were going to be 9-7 last year, and they went 0-16, which was kind of funny. Right. I still think the Browns have a good team, depending on how they draft here. So let's just go down the list here. We're talking about the NFL draft. This is 2018, but we can talk about defensive players, isn't that? No, fantasy football is all about offense. It's about scoring points. So what I really want to focus on, Tgunz, is players that are going to make maybe an impact going forward.
Yeah.
So I have a list in front of me, and I just want to talk about some of the picks going down. All right, it's not going to be every pick.
Well, real quick, so I am Legends of Lawtown's basically draft analyst, and I inform everybody.
Debatable.
Well, debatable, yeah.
Pat O'Leary might have something to say.
I know, but where is Pat O'Leary right now during this NFL draft podcast? Where is he right now? So, I will proclaim myself as the Legends of Lawtown draft analyst. Listen, if you're trying to find out about who's the highest rated offensive tackle, who is the top cornerback, who is the best safety, this is not the podcast for you. This is a fantasy football podcast, and all we care about is touchdowns, is passing yards, rushing touchdowns.
That's what wins you weeks, not offensive tackle. He protected his blind side. No one gives a shit about that. We need to know.
Did he make the touchdown pass or not? Nobody cares who blocked for him.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. It
might matter in the sense of, that guy got drafted offensive tackle. He helped out that running back. But you're talking more about that running back than the offensive tackle. So you know what I mean? So let's talk about this. Number 1 pick, Cleveland Browns. They went 0-16 last year. Tgunz, who do you see the Cleveland Browns taking with number 1? And just before we talk about that, there's been a lot of talk about quarterbacks and running back. So what do they do there in that position?
So real quick, I just want to branch off that. There's a lot of teams this year that are looking for quarterbacks. I'd say there's about 6 or 7 franchises looking for quarterbacks. I know a lot of them address the issue, temporary fixes in free agency. Guys like Sam Bradford got signed, and Case Keenum got signed, and a few other guys. But still a lot of franchises out there looking for franchise quarterbacks. The Browns always miss out on a franchise quarterback.
They do.
Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson, countless others. But there is one guy that I compare him to Andrew Luck in terms of can't miss quarterback prospect. He's going to be there on Sundays. He's going to possibly win you fantasy weeks. He's going to put up fantasy points.
So they're picking a quarterback, number one.
They're taking a quarterback.
Wow.
Now, I really wanted them to go running back because I think there's 4, maybe 5 quarterbacks that can be taken here, and they do have a pick later on. You know, if we had this podcast 2 months ago, I would have penciled them in for Saquon Barkley. But if you think about it, how many quarterbacks have they missed on? And to leave a guy...
A shitload. Like
yeah. Just for the last...
But how many times have they drafted a quarterback that just hasn't worked out, too?
Exactly. So, they take no chances this year. They get their franchise quarterback. They take Sam Darnold with the first overall pick.
So, Sam Darnold, number 1 overall.
Yeah, I mean...
What do you see out of him?
So, do you remember when Andrew Luck came in the league?
Yeah.
Everybody knew, like, he was the guy.
Yeah.
Like, Peyton Manning was leaving the Colts franchise.
He went to an AFC title game.
Yes. Peyton Manning was leaving, but nobody was worried in Indianapolis because they were getting Andrew Luck to replace him. Whatever. I don't know what that means.
Well, they sucked. They went 2-14 that season.
Yeah, all right. Suck for Luck. Yeah. Well, the Browns suck for Sam Darnold. And they're going to get their guy right here. He's gonna start for the Cleveland Browns for the next 15 years. And me and you are going to travel to Cleveland 8 years from now. And it's going to be an awesome matchup because Sam Darnold is the quarterback
So
of the
real
Browns.
quick about Sam Darnold. They just got Tyrod Taylor. And they have, who they got from the Cardinals there? Stanton. That's just the backup thing. So do you think Sam Darnold, week 1, is the starter for the Cleveland Browns?
Yes, I do. This is an awesome situation because it puts pressure on Sam Darnold. It puts pressure on Tyrod Taylor to compete. Yeah, so I think he gets right in there. He feels the fire. He knows he's got to compete for the job. I think he wins the job. They'll keep Tyrod Taylor around just in case. They might even start with Tyrod Taylor the first couple of weeks. Because they're the Browns. They're not trying to make the
In terms of fantasy football, do you think Sam Darnold has any impact this year? Because no one's going to draft him.
Yes.
So do you think anyone's going to draft him, A? Or B, do you think someone's going to end up at least starting him 1 week?
He will not be drafted, but... I mean, a guy like Deshaun Watson last year was not drafted.
That's true.
He's going to be a guy that somebody's got to pick up week 3 or week 4. He's sitting there on the waiver wire, and all of a sudden he's going to explode because he will have Josh Gordon to throw the ball to. He was going to have Jarvis Landry to throw the ball to.
And their tight end,
Njoku.
Yeah.
Njoku is
good.
legit.
He's good.
He is a freaking athlete.
As long as he can stay healthy, he's good. They have a good
Duke
offense.
Johnson out of the backfield.
Carlos Hyde as well.
Throw Duke Johnson the ball, you're going to pick up 10 yards right there. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. He's like the can't-miss prospect. If you combined everything, all the QB traits, he's the number 1 guy. He's the Andrew Luck of this draft.
So we got to keep moving on because we have a lot to talk about. I'll give my 2 cents on that real quick. I think number 1, I think they'll go Saquon Barkley. I think you don't want to give up on that running back right there. I think no matter who they can get at 4 will be a quarterback as well. You have Tyrod Taylor. He's an average quarterback. I'd put him right at 15, right in the middle of the league. I would say that you grab that running back. You have Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson. That means you don't have to force Barkley in the first year. You kind of have 2 guys that can kind of ease it off. They have a great offense with Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon, tight end right there. They actually they were like a top 5 team in the rush defense last year too. So if they get someone later on for defensive, you can do that. I think that running back and quarterback combination you want to keep because if you pass on Barkley, you're not getting him at 4. So I say go Barkley 1, go quarterback 2. By the way, just real quick, I know you want to talk. I just want to say that I have notes right here as well because I don't know much about college football. Darnold completed 63% of his passes for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, had an up-and-down season in 2017 with too many turnovers. He actually had a lot of fumbles as well. And some people think that Darnold's overhyped. It says that some people feel that Darnold was not better on tape in 2017 than Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson. So if you waste your first pick on him right there, it seems like a waste. Which I didn't mean to repeat it twice, but
I mean, Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback in fantasy football before he got injured. So I mean, it's not
you
that
can prove
bad.
the doubters wrong. That's
it's not bad to be that way. Real quick, so you had mentioned Tyrod Taylor as a starting quarterback if they go with Saquon Barkley. A guy like LaShawn McCoy has had a lot of success playing next to Tyrod Taylor in his couple of years with the Bills. So I mean, if that is the pick, look out for Saquon Barkley, which will kind of transition here
to number 2. Number 2 is the New York Giants. They have the number 2 pick now. Been a lot of talk. Eli Manning, he beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, 2-time champion right there, just like his brother Peyton Manning. The thing is, we thought that Eli might have been traded, which still could happen. I think this Giants pick, real quick, is going to be a traded pick. I do not see them drafting. Now, there's been talk about getting an offensive tackle because you want someone to help out Eli as well. Now, you went Sam Darnold number 1, and this is all about Tgunz here. It's not about Commish Babs, what they're going to pick. You want number 2, who are they going to take? Because Sam Darnold goes 1, who are they going to take?
So I think this is a very tradable pick as well. A lot of guys maybe see Sam Darnold go off the board there, and a lot of teams, I should say, might want a guy like Josh Allen, might want a guy like Saquon Barkley, might want a guy like Josh Rosen. I think ultimately the Giants keep this pick. Saquon Barkley is like a can't-miss prospect. He's like kind of like the Ezekiel Elliott of this draft. Can't miss. He's going to make the Pro Bowl in his rookie season. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. A lot of guys compare him to like a Barry Sanders.
Yep.
Just an all-pro. He's going to be your franchise running back for the next 10, 15 seasons. So I could see this pick being traded, but I could also see the Giants just taking Saquon Barkley and sticking with Eli Manning because you pair Saquon Barkley with
the veteran
Odell
experience.
Beckham Jr. and Eli Manning and a guy like Sterling Shepard and possibly Dez Bryant comes into this offense.
They did cut Brandon Marshall. They're making room for him, baby, bro.
So, I mean, you got to watch out for Saquon Barkley. If he ends up with the Giants, you got to watch out for Saquon Barkley this year and could be a mid-first round pick in our fantasy draft. Easily.
So my thing is on Saquon Barkley, I feel like going to the Giants, that might actually be a death toll for him. I don't know if Saquon Barkley is one of those elite guys that is better than the offensive line because sometimes you need a good offensive line around you to find those holes and find everything. But Barkley's 40 was better than the recent running backs of Zeke Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, and Alvin Kamara. He is so good. He has tremendous balance, vision, cutting ability, elusiveness, and power. Barkley in 2017 averaged 5.9 yards per carry for 1,200 yards and 18 touchdowns, and also can catch the ball. He caught the ball 54 times in 2017. So that shows that he is one of those guys that
he's a 3-down back. He's an Ezekiel Elliott 3-down back.
Himself. The thing is this, he's had a lot of wear and tear on his tires at Penn State. That's why I think he goes to Cleveland and just kind of eases like Derrick Henry did, and now he's the bell cow. Because you throw him on the Giants, you got to think this. Think this real quick. Yep. Eli's gone. He's going to be gone in about a year and a half, or 2 years, I mean. Odell's going to be gone. Who knows if they re-sign him as well. They might have Dez. Giants, if they get Barkley, they're going all in this year. They're like, we're going for that NFC East. We're going to go and try to get to that Super Bowl.
And they got ballers on that defense to go with, let's say, Odell Beckham, Saquon Barkley, Manning, Sterling Shepard, maybe Dez Bryant. So, I mean, they're a team that could go all in and have some good success. But what I like here is we both agree that Saquon Barkley is going either first or second in this draft.
He's going to be the top.
And he will have fancy impact.
I will say this real quick before we go into the third pick, that I think the Giants, so I said number 1, Barkley. Number 2, I think the Giants are actually going to trade their pick down to the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills have the 12th and like the 20-something pick. Yeah, and I think the Bills are going to trade up because there's been a lot of talk about the 3 pick, which we're going to the Jets. Some have said Baker Mayfield is already all set to go to the Jets. I think the Bills are going to try to jump up and grab a quarterback. What do you have at number 3? New York Jets. Mr. Red Zone's
I just want to say your foreshadowing is incredible, and we'll find out about that around pick number 4. But I do not have the Jets taking Baker Mayfield, which is probably a surprise because there's been a lot of people have pretty much penciled in Baker Mayfield number 3
penciled in
overall. I think there's too much question marks, which we will talk about later when I determine when Baker Mayfield will go. But right now, I have Josh Rosen going number 3 overall to the Jets. Now, he's not as much as that celebrity quarterback as Baker Mayfield will. But I think he's just a better overall NFL prospect. Accuracy-wise, his intangibles, pocket presence.
That's funny. It says field vision and pocket presence.
Awesome.
That's fucking funny.
So I've been studying my notes.
Yeah,
just a guy that you can pencil in as a starter for the next 10 to 15 seasons.
So he's an automatic starter for the New York Jets.
Exactly. Like Baker Mayfield, you don't know. But let's focus on Josh Rosen right now. He played an NFL-style offense. He's ready to play at the NFL level. A guy that can start for the next 10 seasons.
So
the Jets need that because how many different quarterbacks have we seen the Jets throw out there as a starter? It's just been
Geno Smith! I just want to know real quick.
Exactly.
And this is off the top of our heads. Do the Jets have any good receivers still?
Robbie Anderson! Hey!
Robbie Anderson with
also that guy that came up from Seattle. I don't know his name because he's virtually irrelevant.
Paul Richardson?
No. Paul Richardson's still on Seattle. The other guy. Jermaine Kearse.
Jermaine Kearse.
He's a good wide receiver too.
So
their tight end.
Those guys can be very relevant with a good quarterback like Josh Rosen.
And their tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, also a very good tight end. He's irrelevant unless Lawtown because Howie's probably going to draft him in the 4th round.
And hold on to him.
Quick, in terms of NFL, he's
Josh Rosen completed in 2017, completed 63% of his passes for 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Here's a major thing though that I will knock Rosen on. He had 2 concussions during his final season at UCLA. If you get him in the Pac-12, you're gonna get him in the NFL. So here's my thing: yeah. 2 big concussions going into his final season. You have a team like the Jets. He's gonna get knocked around a lot. He might not have that protection around him. So if he gets knocked around in his rookie season, that's not good going forward for him. He needs to be protected. Josh Rosen seems like the type of guy that you draft, but you don't throw him out right away for 16 games in the season. You kind of ease him in. Yeah. That's the way I see it. Concussions are a big fucking deal, especially when it comes to quarterback.
Yeah, so maybe they ease him in, but he is a guy that could potentially start 10 to 12 games right away in his first season.
So let's go to number 4 pick. By the way, real quick, Josh Rosen. Do you see any fantasy value out of him from the New York Jets? Does he a bye week fill-in maybe, depending on their matchup?
Maybe down the stretch. Not a guy you would draft. Maybe a guy that you pick up on free agency. You'd have to be desperate, I think, to draft him. But I think 2 years from now, I think maybe he could be a 9th or 10th round pick.
So let's go to the number 4 overall pick. It's the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, you had number 1 taking Sam Darnold. I had Saquon Barkley. Sam Darnold, you have them. Number 1, we've already talked about that. Now, number 4, this is a very interesting pick. So if they go quarterback first, what are they going to take with the 4th pick? You figure they already have some receivers going on. Are they going to go defensive player? What do you got?
So I think there's 2 guys I think the Browns are targeting here. Well, not 2 guys, but 2 positions. I think they need to find their franchise quarterback. And then they have another pick in the top 4. They're hoping that Saquon Barkley is still on the board there. For the sake of my mock draft, I don't still have Saquon Barkley on the board there. So I say they trade this pick. And you know who has a lot of assets to trade is the Bills. They have the number 11 pick and something else in the 20s. They have a lot to trade. And the Bills, they see Josh Allen is still up there on the board. They make that trade. They give the 11. They give the 20.
That's a great insight right there. So you're saying that number 4 comes up. The Bills have 2 first-round picks. They're going to trade. So the Browns get both first-round picks for this pick?
Yes, they take them both, which I think is great for the Browns.
That's great. That's what they did last year. They had 3 first-round picks last year as well.
Right.
They traded down like that. You said Saquon Barkley's off the board. There's nobody else there. Maybe Chubb, the defensive player right there, they might look at him at that 4 pick, but they might say, hey, 2 first-round picks, we can really add more depth to everybody around.
I tell you what, if they take Bradley Chubb, that's scary with him and Myles Garrett playing on the outsides. But ultimately, I say, they're like, we have Myles Garrett. We don't really need to take Bradley Chubb here. It'd be awesome if we had them both, but we don't really need it. Let's see what the Bills have to offer. The Bills have plenty to offer.
So Josh Allen goes to the Buffalo Bills. They just traded Tyrod Taylor away. They actually need a franchise quarterback up there as well. LaShawn McCoy's still with that team as well, too.
Right.
Who else do they have for receivers up there?
Calvin Benjamin is there. Who was the young guy there? Zay Jones?
Zay Jones. Zay Jones. I owned him.
Yeah, they have some talent there. the way that so far, I mean, we're only 4 picks in now, but the way that this draft is kind of shaping up, it reminds me of like when Eli Manning went first and then Phillip Rivers went, but there was still one more guy to go after those two, Ben Roethlisberger. And I think Josh Allen could turn into a Ben Roethlisberger type of guy. Big guy, big arm, but he lacks his accuracy.
Real quick on both of those, the last couple picks, the Jets get Josh Rosen. Number 4, the Buffalo Bills get Josh Allen. What I like about your thinking there is I think no matter what, the Buffalo Bills are going to trade up to get that franchise quarterback because everyone knows Tom Brady only has a couple more seasons left. And he's defying time still. Who knows if it's 1 more year he retires? Who knows if it's 5 more years? The Bills and the Jets are both going ahead and saying we need to get that franchise quarterback. It's not this year that we're going to make an impact. But maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, after a couple seasons, now we're competing in the AFC East. That's what I love about this draft that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. The Jets and the Bills can make a huge impact for the AFC East 2 years down the line.
2 years from now, they might have the 2 best quarterbacks in the AFC East.
And exactly. Real quick about Josh Rosen, 56% of his passes were completed for 1,800 yards in 2017 with 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Here's a big stat right here. He had 5 rushing touchdowns last year. But he also had a shoulder injury as well going into the last two games. So another injury that you have to think about going forward.
Right, like I said, like the potential is like Big Ben, but you could also see like a Jake Locker type. Tennessee tried him out and they threw him in there and he just didn't work out. So I think Josh Allen compared to Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold, I don't think he's like that can't miss guy, but I think he's got the big potential, but also the big bust potential.
So you have taken Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Josh Allen off the board. That's 3 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks. Saquon Barkley would go to the New York Giants. So the Browns have traded down. Now we're going to the 5th pick right here, the Denver Broncos, a team that won Super Bowl 50 with Peyton Manning, and they completely fell off the face of the earth. They signed Von Miller to a big contract. They've kind of tied themselves over with contract disputes. Remember, they traded. So what did they happen? They have Simeon. They have Brock Osweiler, who left. Who else do they have for a quarterback there, real quick?
Did they sign Case Keenum? Did they sign Case Keenum? Who signed?
Case Keenum. They got Case Keenum. Yes, they did. Because Case Keenum grew up as a Broncos fan. They got Case Keenum. Case Keenum just had an excellent season with the Minnesota Vikings. They went to the NFC title game. Ultimately lost. I think they were also on a high too, beating the Saints in that division game.
Which is awesome.
So now you're at the number 5 pick right here. Okay, the Denver Broncos still have a good offense. I believe they just released. Did they release C.J. Anderson? I know we're kind of talking bullshit right now, but
they got Devontae Booker. They got running backs.
Devontae Booker. They have Demaryius Thomas still. Emmanuel Sanders. They still have a pretty good offense out there. In the AFC West, you have the Chiefs, the Oakland Raiders, and the Chargers. Anybody can win that division. So number 5 pick for the Denver Broncos. Who do you see coming here?
My boy comes off the board early. Baker Mayfield. Now, I'm really glad that this happens, which it will happen because Tgunz is always right. I'm glad he didn't go to the Jets because that would have been like career over for him. But you go to a franchise like the Broncos, John Elway has been linked in with Baker Mayfield. All the pre-draft talk is John Elway loves Baker Mayfield. I'm glad that it happens. And like we preluded to, the Broncos have Case Keenum. So, hey, Baker Mayfield comes into camp. Hey, he's not ready. That's all right. We have Case Keenum. Let Baker Mayfield sit on the bench for the first 8 games. Let him develop. Because Baker Mayfield played at Oklahoma, Big 12, not a pro style. He played a lot of spread offense. So he's got a lot of learning to do. But he's a great leader. I can see like Drew Brees type potential in him. But you can also see like a Johnny Manziel type in him. Which is good. Which is good to let him sit in the first 8 games. Let him develop, let him learn. Let him see what the NFL is like, because he's not used to NFL offenses. He's used to spread offenses, and he's got a lot to learn. It's good that Case Keenum is there. It's good that John Elway is there. It's good that those receivers are there. It's good that that stable of running backs are there. He'll be able to learn. He's a leader, though. He's a leader. That's why he's going number 5 overall.
So I love that point with John Elway. He's a Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos. To have a quarterback, to have Baker Mayfield there and just ease him in going forward for that franchise. I like that. And what's great is that Pat Mahomes is going to be starting for Kansas City. So you got a young guy there. You might have Baker Mayfield that starts there as well. Phillip Rivers is going to be on his way out of the Chargers there as well. And you got Derek Carr. What a young group of quarterbacks in that division. I want the Patriots to get Baker Mayfield because he has that it factor.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield is a playmaker. Baker Mayfield, I don't know about college football, but when I see this guy on Saturdays, this guy goes out there with passion, excitement. Sometimes it might be a little over the top and people don't agree with it, but you want that out of somebody. And just reading some of this right here, he's a gritty gunslinger quarterback who has that it factor to his game. He might not have a strong arm, but he's good enough to make throws that's required in the NFL. In 2017, Baker Mayfield completed 71% of his passes for 4,600 yards, 43 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. Heisman winner right there. That's why he won the Heisman right there.
Which, as you read some
and he rushed for 5 touchdowns.
Which, as you read some of that stuff off, it makes you think a lot about Johnny Manziel. I think Johnny Manziel had that same, that it factor, Heisman Trophy winner, a lot of touchdowns in college, but I think he's put in a better path because he has John Elway there, he has Case Keenum there to learn behind.
Where Johnny Manziel was just thrown into, and it's about organizations.
Yeah.
You can't just be thrown into Cleveland and expect to be good.
Right.
It's the organization around you. Where Johnny Manziel was at Texas A&M.
Set up to fail when he went to Cleveland. Were you going to say something else? Sorry.
Where do you go, Texas or Texas A&M?
Texas A&M.
All right, Texas A&M. I don't want to get that messed up. When Johnny Manziel was there, he had a good football program around him. When you go to Cleveland, you don't have that football program around you. John Elway will take care of it. I love that pick. It makes a lot of sense. I actually didn't think of that at all because if Baker Mayfield goes to the Jets, which was the projected thing, he's gonna be lost in the sauce, baby. He's not gonna be that great up there. I would love to see him play twice against New England just to make fun of him. At the same time, I like that. Mayfield has excellent mobility to dodge sacks, escape pressure, extend plays with his feet, and throws well on the run. At the same time, he might not be NFL ready, just like Manziel. He was not NFL ready. Give him a year or two.
Doesn't have to be thrown into the fire.
Doesn't have to be thrown into the fire. Prep him for the future.
Which is why I don't like him going to the Jets, because the Jets have not been able to I don't know what the right word is, but none of their quarterbacks have panned out the way that they wanted them to.
And what's great about
Smith, Bryce Petty.
What's great about the Broncos is they had Brock Osweiler kind of prepped behind Manny to go, and then look, it didn't work out. It really didn't. And they have Simeon kind of there, and it's not working out. But they're not like just throwing the guys to the fire right away. They're kind of working them out. Maybe they see Mayfield as like, all right, third time's the charm here. We're gonna get this guy. Let's work him out. And it's great that you said Elway. It's about Elway, man.
Elway, and you know what's also great is that there's a guy there for Baker Mayfield to compete against in training camp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, Baker, this is your franchise. No, he's got to compete with Case Keenum. He's got to compete. Even
Keep
those
that
other
chip
guys
on his shoulder, like,
exactly.
hey, you had a Heisman winning season, but it doesn't mean you're the
We're not
starter
giving
here.
you the keys to the franchise just yet, baby. You got to learn.
All right,
you got to learn.
So already 5 picks down, 4 quarterbacks off the board.
I love it.
Let's skip down a little bit. And because we have a lot to talk about, we're fucking already 50 minutes into this. But let's talk about the 9th pick, the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo with that 9th pick. He comes over to that franchise, wins 7 games. It's crazy. Do you think actually Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback of the future in the NFC?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the quarterback for the 49ers for the next 10 seasons.
But do you think that he makes the Super Bowl? Do you see that Tom Brady-esque out of him? That franchise went to a Super Bowl too with Colin Kaepernick. It's not like a terrible friend, and they had some bad years because everyone retired. Everyone left.
Was
Remember
the coach
that?
over there at the time.
Yeah.
He's not there anymore. It's tough to say if they make the Super Bowl or not, but I'm so glad that you mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo because you know what Jimmy Garoppolo is missing? He's missing that number 1 wide receiver that he can trust, and when he gets in trouble, he can throw the ball to, and he can find in the red zone, and he knows he's going to run the right routes.
Who's the number 1 receiver right now?
I don't know. Goodwin?
Yeah, it's like Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah, who knows? Somebody that Wilcox would probably pick up off free agency after he trades all his good wide receivers away.
So you're saying they're going wide receiver?
So we will take the best wide receiver off the board right here. This is a can't-miss wide receiver. I've seen a lot of comparisons to like Marvin Harrison, who's like a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Calvin Ridley out of Alabama. His stats aren't great. I know you're going to give me stats.
Yes,
he was in Alabama. That's
55 catches, a little less than 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns in 2017.
Alabama's very run heavy. Amari Cooper was the same way. Like his.
Well, it said again held back by Alabama's Jalen Hurts because they're a ground and pound team.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts can't even throw the football. So even a guy like Amari Cooper, like his college stats aren't eye-popping, but just, I mean, Calvin Ridley, just an elite talent. Like I said, Marvin Harrison, a Hall of Fame type receiver. He has great size. He's 6'3", which is fine.
That's a pick I like there because you know
40, great route runner. I could see like Larry Fitzgerald type of potential out of him.
What I like about that pick right there for number 9 for the 49ers, Calvin Ridley, is that a lot of talk has been the Cowboys getting Calvin Ridley because they just got rid of Dez Bryant. So now you're kind of saying they are missing that wide receiver. They might be all set. They need to get Garoppolo, that guy. And maybe this pick has a lot with Garoppolo. Garoppolo's coming in, and they gave him the money. He's like, hey, I need somebody there. I need someone to go with. And they're running back right now because Carlos Hyde went away. Who's the?
You know something? I was researching it before I got here, but it was that white guy. He came in. Joe Williams was a rookie last year. They have some guys.
They have a guy in there. They have running back. I'm not worried about the running back position. That wide receiver position, he needs that number one guy.
He needs the number one. And if you look at like Matt Stafford had Calvin Johnson and Jameis Winston had Mike Evans. Jimmy Garoppolo needs Calvin Ridley.
So here's another thing real quick, too, because we have to move on. Calvin Ridley, he's playing against the Rams. The Rams that beefed up on defense. He's going to play the Seahawks. The Seahawks ain't easy to play against.
No. Well, they're a little softer now than they were before. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, they're playing against some tough teams in that NFC West.
So he's going to be put to the test right away.
Yep.
I think he's gonna be fine, though. He's just a can't-miss wide receiver.
I can see it's funny because you talk about this. Calvin Ridley, he's saying, hey, Jerry Rice, I'm coming for you, baby. Hey, Jerry Rice.
I didn't even think about that.
Jerry Rice.
But that's
Jerry
awesome.
Rice might like give him the little like, hey boy, let's fucking go out there and ball up. Okay.
I love that.
So let's skip another couple picks here. Let's go down to 15. Let's go down to the middle of the draft.
What team's up next?
The Cardinals.
Number 15, the Cardinals pick.
Number 15, the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals. They're a team that has potential in the past. They had Carson Palmer out there. They should have made the NFC title game one year, and they got hurt, and then had Stanton in there, 70 yards in the NFC playoffs right there. Their team, David Johnson, fucking sucks. I picked him number 1 last year. I picked him last year at the top. David Johnson should have had a really great year. It sucks. They still have Larry Fitzgerald there. They're still a good offensive team. Bruce Arians still the coach over there?
No.
Who's the coach now?
The program. I don't know. For all I can know, it's Brian Babicki. I don't know.
Who's that?
But
no matter what, who do you got for the?
So I'm so glad that you talked about the past with them, because in 2015 they had Carson Palmer under center. They had Larry Fitzgerald at wide receiver. They had Michael Floyd at wide receiver. They had John Brown. All these playmakers. They had David Johnson. I think it was his rookie season. Just a lot of excitement around that franchise. The defense had Patrick Peterson. They had Honey Badger. A lot of excitement in that franchise. Now, fast forward 3 seasons later, there is no excitement. Who better in this draft to bring excitement than Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson, I like that.
There was no more
15.
exciting player than Lamar Jackson in this draft.
Yep.
Great thing about Lamar Jackson, he might not be ready for the pros. I think athletic-wise he is, but I think pocket presence, maybe not. Maybe he's got some things to learn. But the Cardinals signed Sam Bradford in the offseason. Great guy to learn behind. Sam Bradford's been through a lot in his NFL career.
Yeah.
That's a guy that Lamar Jackson can learn behind.
First round.
Right, and don't be surprised if Arizona, maybe they're not looking at the playoffs come week 10. Yep. Hey, Lamar Jackson, get your ass off the bench. Let's see what you got, baby. And he could be fantasy relevant and win somebody championships.
I actually think
stretch.
that as well, too. I think Lamar Jackson will be a fantasy relevant quarterback this year.
Yes!
I think that he's somebody that will come in like a Deshaun Watson last year.
Yes!
That will, someone that you have to pick up. He's not going to be, he might be drafted. Again, we only have 5 bench spots.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep players, especially with bye weeks. But he's
Right.
someone that's going to be a waiver wire. He's a waiver wire number 1 pick. I will say that right now. He's gonna have one good week, or the hype's gonna come. Someone's gonna pick him up with that top waiver pick. Boom.
Yes.
Real quick, 3 things about Lamar Jackson before we move on here.
Let's hear
Number
it.
1, he never got an agent with him, and that's actually hurt his draft stock.
Yeah.
So he's a former Heisman winner right there. He could be at the top of this draft. No agent. He wasn't really well prepped for going into the draft, and we'll see how that helps him there. Number 2, he's been looked at and compared as a new Michael Vick, the right-handed version of Michael Vick as well. And the reason for that is In 2017, he completed 60% of his passes, 3,600 yards, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and this wasn't his Heisman winner. It's not even a Heisman year for them. And he averaged almost 7 yards per carry on the ground with 1,600 yards and 18 rushing touchdowns. 18 rushing touchdowns and 1,600 yards. That's an RB1 combined with an above-average quarterback play right there. That's a fucking playmaker.
You spoke of Baker Mayfield as being that polarizing type of player. How many weekends was I sitting on your couch upstairs and Lamar Jackson was on the TV and you walked into the living room saying, "Hey, I want to watch Lamar Jackson."
Yeah, Lamar Jackson.
That's a polarizing figure.
I'm a casual fan of college football, but Lamar Jackson just sucked me in, and I wanted to watch that.
One of the only times I would ever go to a BC game is when Louisville's in town. And I went to see him.
Seven touchdowns. He'd have 7 touchdowns a game.
In the first half, he's got 7 touchdowns on the board.
Which you could say, it depends on who he plays against, but you give him time. Just give him time to develop.
And Sam Bradford's there. Yep. He can have his time. Whatever he needs, he can have. He can learn.
Let's move on to the next pick. So the 19th pick, the Cowboys, the hometown team of the NFL draft, are going to pick. They just got rid of Dez Bryant. They're making some moves now. That's a team that has picked up Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott, I believe, was the 4th overall pick a couple years ago. They got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott wasn't even in their plans to be the future. Romo got hurt. Then Dak went right in and surprised everybody. So you have Dak, you have Zeke. What do you think they add to their offense?
I love this pick. I bought this T-shirt right here. Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma. The only reason why I bought it is because I cannot find anybody on eBay that would sell a Cortland Sutton SMU T-shirt. This is unbelievable that Cortland Sutton makes it to number 19 where the Cowboys are drafting. Cowboys just released Dez Bryant. They need a guy that can handle the load as the number 1 wide receiver. Cortland Sutton is a guy that can handle 130 targets, maybe catch 90 balls as a rookie. He's like that diva wide receiver that the Cowboys need. They drafted Allen Hurns, and obviously the focus is on the running game with Ezekiel Elliott there. So it's not a guy like he's going to be pressured too much to make an immediate impact. He'll be able to take his time, work himself into the offense. A great pick here. He reminds me of an Alshon Jeffrey type of player, and it's great that he'll be playing next to Allen Hurns to take some of the pressure off him. I cannot love this pick anymore, and I cannot wait to hear the Dallas fans erupt when local boy Cortland Sutton from SMU gets drafted in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. It's going to be awesome.
So 2 things there. A lot of talk has been Calvin Ridley in that position at 19 for the Cowboys, but he's already been taken to the 49ers according to you, which makes sense right there. So 19, the second wide receiver off the board most likely, Cortland Sutton. The fact is that Dez Bryant is gone. They wanted to get rid of him, but they do need a wide receiver there. They still have hard-hitting Jason Witten there, too. Yep. A nice vet that can go in there on their offense. But to have that and Allen Hurns, Zeke, Dak, and Cortland Sutton to actually combine together because they're all young guys.
I'm happy for the Dallas fans.
That's great.
I'm going to be so happy for the Dallas fans if that happens. I think Cortland Sutton's a guy that's got to be drafted in those later rounds, 15, 16.
Ridley and Sutton, no matter which way they go, are going to be in the top 20. They're both going to go out there. Yep. Do you think both of them are fantasy relevant? So if Ridley's with the 49ers, is he going to be your wide receiver 3? So what do you look at them as wide receivers in terms of fantasy?
So I think Ridley is the guy that he's your wide receiver 2, possibly a wide receiver 2. Ridley's a wide receiver 3, possibly a wide receiver 2. I think the production is going to be there on him. I think Cortland Sutton gets drafted. He's a guy you keep on your bench for the first few weeks. But I think as he gets used to the NFL style, as he gets used to playing with Dak Prescott, I think he becomes fantasy relevant. And he's a big red zone target. He's a big boy. He's a Dez Bryant type of guy. Dak Prescott throw up the ball. Cortland Sutton's going to go get it. So we're going to start seeing him get some touchdowns later into the season. He's the guy that should be rostered.
Sutton had 68 catches for 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns and 2007.
Double-digit touchdowns. That sounds a lot like Dez Bryant.
Let's go to the number 20 pick, the Detroit Lions, who just picked up Matt Patricia as their head coach. He is now acquiring Matt Stafford and company as well, a Golden Tate, a Theo Riddick, and Amir Abdullah. An okay defense as well. That's an open NFC North. It'll be very interesting to see what the Detroit Lions play, which also that the New England Patriots play them week 3, which I'll be there in Detroit, which, who knows, I might be wearing a Detroit Lions jersey because it depends on fantasy football.
I mean, when you hear this pick, I think you might... We've talked a lot off camera about this guy, and I know you want him on the Patriots, but I think this is my favorite pick.
Which is high right here, which considering where he's been going.
Yes, it is high. I could also see him going a little bit higher. I thought possibly the Redskins would take him a little bit early in the first round, but I could not love this situation anymore. The Lions last year struggled in the red zone.
They did.
They need a freaking big, bruising back. Darius Geis out of LSU. I love this pick so much. If you took Darius Geis in the first round, I would not disapprove. I would be happy for you. I would be jealous of you. I think Darius Geis, that's an awesome offense. And he's going to get his red zone carries. He's going to get chances to get touchdowns. I love this pick right here. Compare him to a Marshawn Lynch type of guy. Double-digit touchdowns, 1,000, 1,200 yards. I love it. Darius Geis, Detroit Lions.
So here's my thing about Darius Geis real quick, is that is someone that I want the New England Patriots to get. I think he falls down to at least a different pick. I mean, this makes sense. Like, I'm just thinking about it right now with the Detroit Lions, because it's going to go off of what I'm about to say, is that the Patriots...
Real quick, Matt Patricia took over that franchise. He's the head coach now. He's all set with his defense. Hey, the guys that we got on defense, I'll coach them. We'll be all right. But hey, red zone, we need something there. We need something that can get us into that red zone.
So Darius Geis, this is the way I looked at it for the Patriots' perspective, which makes sense for the Detroit Lions, is that Darius Geis, I do not see, if we're talking fantasy, he got drafted, I'm not picking him. I'm not picking him. He's Derrick Henry 2.0. The reason why I say that, a lot of tread on his tires, he's someone that you can ease into that. It makes sense for the Detroit Lions. Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick. Let those guys basically handle everything. Just throw Geis in there every so often. Let him be your future running back. That's why I looked at him at the New England Patriots. Jeremy Hill, he's going to be a stud for 1 year. He has a 1-year contract. Mike Gilsey, 1 more year left on his contract. Rex Burkhead has an opt-out in 2 years. So I look at it, Darius Geis, he's someone that you kind of let him ride the wave a bit. Like Derrick Henry had 2 years behind DeMarco Murray. Derrick Henry's a first-round fucking pick next year. Absolutely. If you have a late first round
I hope I
pick,
drafted you in the first round.
Late first round, Derrick Henry's your pick. That's where I see Darius Geis in 2 years from now. He's going to be your late first round pick. I think that you need to ease him in. And it makes so much sense, Tgunz, that he ends up going to the Detroit Lions for that reason.
And you talked about 2 years down the road, he's a first round draft pick. I think that there's also potential for him to make an impact this season. Because we know the Lions can move the ball. They got Matt Stafford. He'd
be the LeGarrette Blount type of thing where he gets the touchdowns.
Exactly. You could see double
he'd be your RB2 to your flex. He'd be a flex.
If he's your flex, I think your team is scary.
Yeah. All right, let's move on a little bit here. 23rd overall pick, the first round pick for the New England Patriots.
The home team, baby.
The New England Patriots home team here right behind us. We have 2 first-round picks for the New England Patriots. Tgunz, who do you see the Patriots? Now, I said, guys, there's a Lamar Jackson. There's a lot of talk about what they're going to do here. There's talk about getting an offensive tackle. Who do you think the Patriots pick here with their first pick in the first round?
First of all, I would just like to say your ability to foreshadow is uncanny.
That's why I'm Commissioner Babs, and why I run the best podcast in the world.
Second of all,
not good at timing though, but
second of all, on our way down to Atlantic City for Tron's retirement party, we stopped at Rutgers University. We attended their pro day. There was nobody we really saw like first round talent. Maybe some guys in the second, maybe some guys in the third round. So we're gonna pass on the Rutgers guys for now. Like I was saying, your ability to foreshadow, Sony Michel, I think is the guy here. Like you said, we got Jeremy Hill this season. We have the other guy. Help me on his name. The guy who came up from the Bills.
Well, Mike Gilsey, which is going to be a free agent, which they spend a 5th round pick on, but...
So we'll wear and tear those guys' bodies for this season, and then Sony Michel comes in next season, partnered with James White. I think Sony Michel is the first and second down back, a north and south runner. I think he fits in very well with James White in the backfield. I think those 2 guys, that's the future of our backfield. Now, draft at number 23, Patriots don't need a guy that's going to start right away. They can take somebody there. Wear and tear on the other guys, and then Sony Michel next year, maybe a featured type of role. playing next side James White on third down.
So real quick, what I like about that is that we have same thinking right there, and is that I wanted a running back. I wanted Geis. And I said, hey, that's who the Patriots should take. And now you're taking the next best running back available.
Exactly.
So we both kind of have that similar, thinking there where it's like you don't have to rush somebody right away because you got to think a lot about the Patriots going forward into this. They don't care about fantasy. They don't care about any of that shit.
No,
but this is a Josh McDaniels pick. Josh McDaniels is thinking about that future. And on top of that, James White also, his contract is up in 2 years as well. So James White's gone. They're not going to, because James White's going to get a contract somewhere else too. Just like Dion Lewis just got his contract as well for Tennessee. So you got to build up that future right there. So you get that running back, and what's great about here is that I want to read this right here.
Let's hear it.
Sonny had 7.9 yards per carry in 2017 with 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns.
And what conference is Georgia in?
SEC.
SEC.
So
it's tough defenses he's playing against.
And
7.9.
And it says here, he would have been a 3-down starter at most schools, but Georgia had a huge stable of backs whom the coaches spread carries to. And that's great to hear, to show that he hasn't had that wear and tear. Yeah. And he's had 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns. That's a low-end RB1.
And who else has that large stable of running backs next season?
New England.
The
New England Patriots always have running backs. Look at Mike Gilsey that they spent a 5th-round pick on. He had probably like 1 or 2 good games right to start the season, and then he just on the shelf for the rest of the season. That's how good they are. That's how good the Patriots could throw anybody in there. Because you know what? Defenses can't prep for that. But Sonny Michael, that's someone that McDaniels looks in the future and says, hey, he's our future running back. After everyone else leaves, we still have him going forward. And they'll still draft after that, too. I know a lot of people want defensive guys. They want an offensive tackle. But I like a running back right there as well, too.
I mean, when's the last time you took a running back in the first round? Something to get excited for the Patriots fans.
Yeah, offense. Like, you want to get... It gets you excited for the future because life after Tom Brady and company, all Pats fans, everyone's going to jump off the bandwagon. Everyone will get off that bandwagon. You want to have something going forward there. I like that.
His ability to foreshadow is amazing.
So, 24th pick overall, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers have Cam Newton and company, a team that went to Super Bowl 50, and they lost to the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning with his neck falling off. And they've kind of fell off a little bit. That NFC South is not easy to win when you have Drew Brees there, Matt Ryan, and Jameis Winston on the come up as well, too. So who do you see the Carolina Panthers taking there at 24?
So, Cam Newton lost his reliable receiver last year when Kelvin Benjamin got traded to the Buffalo Bills. And Greg Olsen, another reliable target that he had, injury prone. Who knows how many games he'll play this year? They need a guy that they can just count on. And a guy in DJ Moore at Maryland is a guy you can count on.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you something real quick. It might be on your notes. It might not. DJ Moore caught 80 balls with 4 different quarterbacks.
That's crazy. It's 80 receptions right there for 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns.
He didn't even have a stable quarterback. There was 4 different quarterbacks throwing the ball. He still caught 80 balls. He did great at the combine. I think he ran like a 4.4. I compare him to a Jarvis Landry. Just a guy, like you throw him the ball, he's gonna catch the ball. Yeah. And Cam Newton needs that. Devin Funchess is a bigger guy, an end zone type of target, but they need that slot guy.
Funchess does well with a guy that's also on the other side. Funchess needs another receiver there. Like Funchess cannot be the number 1.
No. Well, I mean, these guys will be like 1A, 1B.
Yeah, no, but Funchess can't be the only receiver on the team. He needs another playmaking guy right there.
Which I think DJ Moore is also in that mold. He can work well with a bigger receiver on the other side. He'll play the slot. Just like a Jarvis Landry. You need a first down, throw to DJ Moore. And Cam Newton needs that guy too. He is Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield now, but I think he also needs that receiver. You need 7 yards on third down. DJ Moore is his guy. I love this pick. Not only for the Panthers, but also for fantasy football, because I do think DJ Moore in a year or 2 is fantasy relevant. I love this pick.
Did you think DJ Moore will be somebody that you fill in for a bye-week fill-in?
Maybe not right off the bat, because we are getting towards the end of the first round, which is where things start to drop off a little bit. He could be a guy that
real quick about
you might try to get 80 yards out of him. You can't count on a touchdown.
It's like throwing a dart at the board, kind of.
Yeah,
sometimes you have to do that with receivers, especially a wide receiver 3 or a flex position. DJ Moore is a gritty receiver with speed and quickness to generate separation. With his vertical speed and suddenness of outbreaks, Moore is a threat to stretch the field as he can challenge defensive backs deep downfield. He's competitive, aggressive, and fights defensive backs to make plays, which is great in that NFC South. They fight against each other. That's a tough division. So
sounds like a good guy to have on your roster.
So you have three wide receivers now off the board right there.
Yes.
Let's skip down a couple picks here to the 27th pick. The New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees only has about 2 more years left with the Saints. They're a team that's trying to make that one more Super Bowl run. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. What a great 1-2 combination last year.
You got Michael Thomas there.
Michael Thomas. Willie Snead just left to go to the Ravens. They have a match there. So what do you see for the 27th pick for the New Orleans Saints?
So when the Saints were at their best is when they had, going really far back, they had Jeremy Shockey, but even more recent, they had the tight end at Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was a great receiver for them. But ever since Jimmy Graham left, there's been a void there at tight end.
It's been fill-ins, kind of.
Yeah, just filling guys. I know they had Benjamin Watson one year. Then they had the white guy that came over from the Colts. I don't know his name.
Jack Doyle.
No. No, it wasn't Jack Doyle. He might not even came over from the Colts. I don't even think he did. But I have them filling that void with a number 27 overall pick. Hayden Hurst. A lot of guys at home probably haven't heard much about Hayden Hurst. He's from South Carolina. Good athlete. He actually was drafted in the Major League Baseball draft. Didn't quite make it. And now he went back to South Carolina to play football. He's got great hands. He's a good athlete. I think the Saints need that red zone target. Kind of take pressure off Michael Thomas a little bit. Give Drew Brees another option. I don't have much to say about Hayden Hurst, but he's got sure hands. He's a good target for Drew Brees to throw to. I like that pick there.
So,
Hurst, baby.
Going off that, Hayden Hurst, tight end is a crapshoot position. You have Rob Gronkowski, you have Travis Kelce, and you have maybe a
Zach
Jimmy
Ertz.
Graham, Zach Ertz. Yeah, Zach Ertz, which is the MVP of tight ends last year, and that's why Duke won that championship, by the way. He actually was a difference maker, too, into that championship game, which was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It comes down to Zach Ertz. That was a great pick by Duke. Shout out there. But do you think, I mean, with the crapshoot that it already is, Hayden Hurst, you got 12 GMs, 12 tight ends that are going to be owned?
So he's the guy, if you decide to punt tight ends, he's the guy that you can look for in the 15th round. Hey, I'll take Hayden Hurst. Let's see what he's got. New Orleans Saints, high-powered offense. The running backs will get them down the field. Maybe Hayden Hurst catches
Red zone
6
threat
touchdowns.
right there, yeah. You know, that it's a crapshoot. It's a real crapshoot right there.
He's the guy that can make himself fantasy relevant. Like I said, good athlete, played Major League Baseball.
Do you think the Saints end up taking a quarterback in this draft just later on? Just wondering, because Drew Brees is done in 2 years.
They could. There's guys on the board there. Luke Falk's still on the board there. I do not believe.
Speaking of Luke Falk, a couple picks later, the 31st pick, New England Patriots go up there. Now, you had them picking a Sonny Michael right there at running back. Do the Patriots finally pick up that quarterback on 31st pick?
Can I talk to you about something real quick?
Oh, you have all the time in the world.
I made a mistake here when I wrote on my mock draft, and I apologize to everybody at home. I left Mason Rudolph off of this mock draft. How? I don't know how I did it.
Where would he have gone?
Can you buy me some time?
No, I'm not buying you any time. You fucked this up. You wrote out everybody that you wanted to take right here.
You can't take.
You wrote everybody right here who I want to take. I'm not giving you any time. I want you to embarrass yourself right now.
You can't talk about our local sponsors for a few seconds?
Oh, so actually a couple local sponsors that I want to talk about this season. Mr. Takeout, always top pizza. They've been a little salty lately, those pizzas at Mr. Takeout, because he cries right into them. Actually, a big sponsor for Legends of Lawtown this upcoming season, and this is something that I haven't announced yet. Excuse me. Something I want to announce, Self-Made Jerseys. Self-Made Jerseys are the new official sponsor for Legends of Lawtown. Why is that? Because Young Gronk has a special treat when we're at the NFL draft. Buy Self-Made Jerseys. I hope that we have a great relationship moving forward. Self-Made Jerseys, check them out on Instagram. My boy all the way out there in Thailand who makes great jerseys going forward. So, we're back here for the 31st overall pick with the New England Patriots. They've taken Sonny Michael. According to you, who are they going to take with 31?
You know something? I really screwed up here, and there's a lot of rust because we haven't done a podcast in a while.
I always come prepped.
I screwed myself over here. I have Luke Falk written down, but as I go back up the draft board, I see Mason Rudolph is still there. So although I have Luke Falk, I'm throwing an audible your way. I have Luke Falk written down, but we're gonna go right here. New England Patriots, and we take Mason Rudolph. Now, Mason Rudolph, he's a guy that could flourish in the NFL, could also be nothing in the NFL, but I think he's system dependent. I think he's a very accurate quarterback. He's played in the pro style before. Very fitting to land the New England Patriots land him. I'm shuffling here for my quarterback notes.
You just said that Rudolph is good at his accuracy. Well, actually, right here it says that he will have to work on a shaky accuracy, just like you're shaky right now, and a field vision. He has to also get used to playing under center and calling plays in the huddle, which he's not really used to, which is great for Tom Brady to teach him how to do that, because Brady always does that. Rudolph had completed 65% of his passes for almost shy of 5,000 yards, 37 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Great touchdown to interception ratio right there for Rudolph.
So who else had a lot to work on coming out of college was Tom Brady. He went to Bill Belichick. They worked on a lot. Mason Rudolph. The thing that I liked about him is they played a lot of play action at Oklahoma State, and he was very good. He's very used to play action. That's an NFL style that Mason Rudolph can go to. And like you said, sit behind Tom Brady for 2 seasons. The thing about taking a quarterback here, number 31 overall, you get him for 5 years. As we learned with Jimmy Garoppolo, anybody outside the first round is probably going to sign for 4 years. You take my boy Mason Rudolph here, number 31 overall. You get a 5th year with him. You get time to let Tom Brady decide what he wants to do. I think it's a great fit here. Luke Falk would have also been a great fit, but we're going to leave him
So
off.
no matter what, they are taking a quarterback in the first round.
Especially with Mason Rudolph and Luke Falk still on the board here, there's no reason to pass on the quarterback.
They're not going to take an offensive tackle.
Probably.
They're not going to take one of these guys in the second round. They don't think they're going to fall him down.
Listen, I'm not auditioning for ESPN here, so I don't want the Patriots to take
Sorry,
an
I'm working
offensive
with Timmy
tackle.
too much.
I want the New England Patriots to take a guy that will start for them in 3 seasons and will be able to throw the ball to Chris Hogan and will be able to throw the ball to Jacob Hollister. No.
Jacob Hollister is the future tight end by the New England Patriots.
I want the guy that's going to be throwing the ball to Jacob Hollister.
Real quick.
I want the guy that's going to be handing the ball off to Sony Michel.
Real quick, that Rob Gronkowski, there's people saying you got to draft a tight end to replace him. It's Jacob Hollister. Jacob Hollister has the tools to be the new Gronk 2.0. Not the partying type of Gronk. He's very religious. He's very Christian. But Jacob Hollister has those tools to end up being somebody. So now let's go to the last pick of the first round, the Philadelphia Eagles, who beat the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52. Who are they going to take at the 32nd pick now? We have receivers still on the board. They have their quarterback situation kind of figured out, which I'm going to tell you right now, they just signed Nick Foles for a little extension, kind of like a bonus thing for thank you for Big Dick Nick to help us out winning Super Bowl 52, which that's going to fuck them over between Wentz and Foles. I'm telling you right now, in the middle of the season, Foles is going to make mistakes. People are going to say, why isn't Wentz coming in? Wentz will make mistakes. People are going to blame Foles. It's going to go back and forth. They're not going to make the playoffs next year. Who do you see them taking right here? 36?
I think they do make the playoffs next year because I think this is a team that doesn't have many
holes.
Doesn't have many holes. Doesn't have many weaknesses. So they use that number 32 overall pick. They take a guy named DJ Chark. He's a wide receiver. They have talent at wide receiver because they have Alshon Jeffrey. They have the other guy there. His name's in the back of my head. I can't think of who it is.
Nelson
Aguilar. But they don't have a guy that takes the top off the defense. A guy in DJ Shark. He ran a 4.3 40. He will take the top off the defense. He will open things up for Zach Ertz. He will open things up for Alshon Jeffrey and for Nelson Aguilar. There's no weakness there. But, hey, throw a little bonus guy into that offense. Throw a little bonus guy into possibly fantasy relevance. DJ Shark. Just a fast guy, tall guy. Deshaun Jackson, maybe type of style guy. You know, a guy that we know Carson Wentz has a big arm. Hey, just chuck one up to him, see if he can make a play on.
So Chark only had 40 receptions for 870 yards, 3 touchdowns in 2017. He's actually projected behind Christian Kirk. Do you know anything about Christian Kirk? Why are you not taking Christian Kirk there at 32?
Because I feel like DJ Shark is a guy that fits the Eagles a little bit better here. They need a guy that can spread the offense because they got guys in between Zach Ertz, even some of the running backs down the ball too.
Okay.
Just a guy that takes the top off the defense. DJ Shark is a guy that's going to bring NFL safeties. Got to pressure them. make the move back, take the pressure off Carson Wentz, open things up for Carson Wentz in the middle. Like I said, Eagles don't have many weaknesses here, so you just take a shot at TJ Shark.
Tgunz, I want to thank you for coming on. We didn't get to talk about every single team because obviously we're skipping defensive players.
There's a lot of good defensive players in here, a lot of good offensive tackles. Is even
So I'm gonna keep this sheet that we wrote out, and these are your picks, and we'll talk on Friday after round 1, and let's see how many actually got right. And that was good. It was good to have you back on. I know I'm cutting this down. I know I'm cutting this a little short at the end here. We went on a little bit longer than we wanted to, but great insight, and we'll see what ends up panning out going forward. A lot of quarterbacks. I mean, right off the bat, 4 quarterbacks in the first 5 picks. Lamar Jackson, which is the 5 right there, and then Luke Folk and Rudolph, which is 31.
Funny because quarterbacks.
Which is kind of crazy. Is that Rudolph. Here's the thing. Everyone's been talking 6 quarterbacks will go off the board right away. Well, go off in the first round, and that's what
I would love to see.
Which is you're projecting right there.
That would be so fun to see 6 franchises get potential franchise quarterbacks. That's why we're going to the draft. See that excitement, and it'd be awesome.
So last year was the first year they had a fan experience going on at the NFL draft, and I'm glad that you're coming with me because I know that you know all about college football. I know that you'll come in here and chime in like that's a good pick. It was great to have this little powwow before we go in and kind of know what's going on as well too. Exactly. So I'm excited for Thursday. I'm excited for round 1. I'm excited to see what happens in 2018 Legends of Lawtown. I'm excited to see what rookies have a big impact going forward in fantasy football.
I'm excited for the 2018 season. It's gonna be our best ever.
I'm also excited the Celtics won, by the way.
Celtics won. They're up 3-2 going back to Milwaukee. GRD, you should have been there. Tantron was there. Tantron might come back to the league because of that. It was awesome to be down here, down at the headquarters. Awesome to see all these great banners up around. A lot of greatness down here. And we'll see you guys soon because we're coming back in, 3 days?
A couple days. We'll come back. We'll have the second podcast for the 2018 season. Thank you for tuning in to Legends of Lawtown Fantasy Podcast. Tgunz, let's see that, baby.
Real quick, what's your favorite pick from Tgunz mock draft?
So my favorite pick actually from the Tgunz was the Baker Mayfield to the Broncos.
Oh.
I think that's like probably one of the smartest moves right there. I don't really like the other 4 picks ahead of that. Calvin Ridley to the 49ers. I like that pick as well.
I like that one too. That would be so much fun.
You know, the Darius to the Lions. Dude.
I want that to happen. That's the one that I just want to happen.
Those picks, and then Sonny Michael, I like that because we had the same kind of thought process. So I think that all that will actually equal out there. I think a lot of these picks are good, but who knows? Barkley goes number 1. Everything gets kind of fucked up after this, which I like. I'll have this in the back pocket. We'll bring this out while we're there at the draft, and it'll be interesting to go off of that.
It's awesome, bro.
All right, thank you for coming on, bro.
See you guys in a couple days. It's always a pleasure to come down here and come on
By
with
the way,
you. The #1 commissioner in America.
Is it gonna be in your hands going forward?
You know, I'm working on it. I'm working towards it. You know, regular season champ. Now all of a sudden I'm the draft analyst. So you know, maybe we're working towards something like this. We'll see. We will see. How about you, man? You've been here longer than I have in this league, and you still haven't. There's no Commissioner Babs written on the side here.
I don't want to talk about it. We're ending this podcast.